A forest. Cold air hangs over Bear Brook State Park. Two rusted barrels sit half-buried among pine needles. Inside them, remnants of a secret that took 4 decades to reveal. One question echoes through the pines. Who was the little girl in the barrel? And who put her there? How does a mystery survive 40 years? The story begins in the quiet woods of Allenstown, New Hampshire. In 1985, a hunter stumbled upon a 55-gallon metal drum hidden in the trees near Bear Brook State Park. Inside were the remains of an adult woman and a young girl. No names, no IDs, no missing person match. For years, investigators called them the Bear Brook victims. They were buried together under granite, the headstone reading only known unto God. Then, in 2000, another barrel was found just 100 yards away. Inside, 2 more children. By 2025, after one of the longest forensic odysseys in American history, the final piece finally fell into place. The last unidentified child, known for decades as the middle child, was given her real name, Ray Rasmussen. 1985. A barrel containing 2 bodies is discovered near Bear Brook Park. Investigators suspect homicide. 1987 to 1999, the case stalls. DNA testing is primitive. Investigators can't match the victims to any database. 2000, a second barrel is found by chance. Inside, 2 more children. The connection is immediate. Same method, same pattern, same site. What kind of killer returns to the same woods 15 years later? 2017, breakthrough. Genetic genealogist Barbara Ravener, the scientist later credited in the Golden State Killer case, joins the effort. She uses emerging familial DNA matching to identify the adult victim as Marcy Allen, mother of 2 of the children. 2019, investigators trace the male DNA link to Terry Pender Rasmussen, a drifter known as the Chameleon Killer. He died in prison years earlier, leaving a trail of aliases and victims. 2023, one mystery remains, the 3rd child. She's not Marcy's. She's not Rasmussen's. Her DNA sits alone in the database. 2025, a final genetic match emerges from a Danish-American genealogy site. Scientists confirm the girl's name, Ray Rasmussen, distant kin to the killer through a tangle of family lines. Each identification came from painstaking triangulation. Mitochondrial DNA connected the woman and 2 girls to one maternal line. Autosomal DNA linked the final child to Rasmussen's extended family, proof that she was his biological daughter by another woman. Forensic anthropologists rebuilt the child's facial structure using cranial scans. Digital artists rendered the portrait scene worldwide. Phone logs, property records, and family DNA trees confirmed the link. Even after death, Rasmussen's genetic signature anchored every thread of the case. Not everyone accepts the timeline. Some retired officers argue another accomplice may have helped move the barrels, too heavy for one person alone. Others claim Rasmussen's known movements don't fully align with the first discovery date, but no solid evidence ties anyone else. The case file lists him as the sole suspect, now deceased. Still, the open question lingers. Why bury them so close? Why return to the same woods? Was it guilt or ritual? For families who'd lived decades without answers, 2025 felt like light after endless night. Relatives finally placed names on the headstone. Volunteers replanted flowers around the memorial in Allenstown. Marcy Allen's surviving family spoke softly at the ceremony. She was loved. She was found. The crowd wept, not because the horror ended, but because identity had finally won. Children who'd been data points were human again. That, investigators said, was the real victory. Experts call Bear Brook a template case. It pioneered the fusion of cold case detective work and modern genetic genealogy. In simple terms, the past met the future in a lab tube. Just as fingerprints defined the 20th century, DNA family matching may define the 21st. It raises ethics debates, privacy, consent, and how much of our ancestry belongs to public record. We know the names now. We know the killer. We know the woods held their truth for 40 years. But we don't know why. And in true crime, why is always the final barrier. Investigators are now auditing hundreds of missing child cases from the 1970s and 80s for possible links to Rasmussen's aliases. Patterns fit, but evidence is thin. A documentary team is digitizing the case archives for training future forensic students. Confidence level, high. Local residents still leave toys and flowers by the memorial each spring. The mystery's echo endures, not because of what remains unsolved, but because truth arrived so late. For 37 years, one name haunted Florida investigators, Julie Doe, until 2025, when that name was finally replaced with the truth, Pamela Leigh Walton. What happens when identity itself becomes the mystery? In August 1988, a road crew worker discovered a woman's body near U.S. Highway 441 outside Claremont, Florida. No ID, no witnesses, no match in missing person records. She was buried under the placeholder name Julie Doe, a case so cold it froze an entire community's hope. Decades later, the case gained international attention, not only for its longevity, but because early investigators believed Julie Doe might have been a transgender woman, an angle almost unheard of in 1988's forensic landscape. By 2025, new DNA techniques would transform that assumption and return a long-lost identity to the right family. In 1988, the Lake County Sheriff's Office reported a body discovered near Highway 441. Autopsy shows blunt force trauma. No clues. In 1990s, DNA sampling was attempted, but the technology was rudimentary. The remains yielded little usable data. In 2015, the question on everyone's lips was, can a ghost be reborn through data? The DNA Doe Project launches a crowd-funded effort to identify Julie Doe through forensic genealogy. In 2018, there was a breakthrough. A partial chromosome profile revealed that the victim was biologically female, not male to female as initially believed. In 2023, investigators used new autosomal sequencing to trace shared segments to a distant family in the Midwest. In 2025, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement confirms the name Pamela Leigh Walton, born 1959 in DeKalb County, Georgia. She was a beloved daughter, sister, and friend whose family had reported her missing in the late 80s. Forensic scientists extracted a microscopic fragment of bone for DNA amplification. New methods like whole genome capture allowed usable reads where old methods failed. Genealogists built a family tree of over 1,500 distant relatives using public databases. Matches on Ancestry and GD-Match narrowed to a Georgia family with a missing daughter from 1988. Dental records and childhood x-rays confirmed identity. Early gender profiling errors sparked debate in forensic science. Some advocates argue that the initial transgender label drew awareness to marginalized victims and funding for cold cases. Others believe it delayed accurate identification by fixating on speculation over science. Even today, Pamela's exact cause of death remains undetermined. Trauma suggests homicide, but no suspect has been charged. If a case is solved without justice, is it truly closed? When the Walton family received the call in 2025, they cried not from shock, but from release. Their sister had a name again. Pamela's younger brother spoke quietly to reporters. She wasn't Julie. She was Pam. She was real. Florida's LGBTQ+ community honored both stories, Julie and Pamela, with a dual vigil for truth and representation. Candles flickered across Lake County as people reflected on how labels can hide humanity. Forensic genealogy is reshaping justice. It lets science speak for those silenced before digital records existed. Experts compare it to ancestry turned detective. Every sequence of A, T, C, G becomes a breadcrumb home. Yet it raises new questions of privacy and consent. Millions upload DNA for fun, never realizing they may help solve murders. Ethically, it's a tightrope. Truth versus permission. We know her name. We don't know her killer. We know science can restore identity, but not always justice. Investigators are retesting evidence from the scene using touch DNA methods, hoping for suspect material. Advocacy groups plan to rename anonymous graves statewide in honor of Pamela Walton. Her case will likely feature in a 2026 documentary on Florida's unsolved murder. Names are anchors. Without them, we drift. Pamela Leigh Walton drifted for 37 years through databases and headlines until 2025 brought her home. Truth didn't arrive with sirens. It arrived through science and quiet dedication. For nearly 6 decades, one question lingered like fog over Bristol. Who killed Louisa Dunne? In 2025, a frail man of 92 finally answered. Can justice still breathe after 58 years? Louisa Dunne was 20 when she left a dance hall on a September night in 1967. She never made it home. Her body was found the next morning beside the River Avon. Signs of assault, then murder. Police interviewed hundreds, but the trail turned cold. Generations of detectives came and went. The file gathered dust in the Avon and Somerset archives. Then in 2025, one small plastic vial of DNA changed everything. In 1967, Louisa Dunne was found dead near the riverbank. No suspect identified. In the 1970s to 2000s, evidence was stored but never retested. Chain of custody paperwork was preserved by chance. In 2019, a cold case unit re-examines the box marked LD 67, a single degraded swab still viable. In 2022, modern DNA profiling reveals a partial Y chromosome signature, too incomplete for database match. In 2024, familial matching finds a near relative hit, a family in Dorset, surname Headley. In 2025, police visit Ryland Headley, 92, in a nursing home. He admits being in Bristol that night. He denies murder, then whispers, "I didn't mean to kill." In May 2025, Headley charged with rape and murder. In July 2025, he pleads guilty, sentenced to life imprisonment with minimum 10 years. Symbolic, since time itself has nearly claim. DNA extracted from preserved fabric fibers was amplified using next-generation YSDR sequencing. Probability of match, 1 in 1.3 billion. Investigators corroborated confession details. The dance hall name, the weather, even the broken lamppost by the river, all consistent with 1967 records. Old witness statements referenced a tall man with dark coat, seen arguing with Louisa. Headley's 1960s employment ID photo fit the description. Some legal analysts argue the confession, taken when Headley was elderly and medicated, might be unreliable. Others point out he revealed non-public facts only the killer could know. Critics ask why it took 58 years, why early evidence sat idle in a vault. Was it underfunding or disbelief that justice could age? When memory fades, what counts more, science or remorse? Louisa's younger sister, Eileen Dunne, 84, attended court holding a single daisy. She told reporters, "He's outlived my sister by 70 years, but today she finally won." For detectives, the verdict symbolized closure and frustration. One said quietly, "We solved it," but there's no one left to serve the sentence for her. Across Britain, families of unsolved cases took heart. If Louisa Dunne's story could end, so could theirs. Cold case DNA is like resurrecting time capsules. Every decade adds new clarity. Experts say future advances could extract profiles from a single sweat molecule. The Headley case also ignited debate on elder justice. Should frail offenders face trial, or does truth itself outweigh punishment? Ethicists compare it to closing a loop in history. Less about revenge, more about record. As one criminologist put it, justice is a ledger. Every name must be balanced. We know who. We know how. We don't know why he carried it for 6 decades and finally spoke. Maybe the weight became heavier than silence. What makes a killer confess when no one is left? To punish him? The UK Home Office has commissioned a national audit of cold case evidence older than 40 years. Forensic teams are testing samples from a 1960s stored at the Metropolitan Police Archive. Dunne plans to donate part of Louisa's memorial fund to the DNA Database Initiative. Michael Gaine left home for a short drive before breakfast and never returned. 8 months later, no one could say where he went or why the land itself seems to keep a secret. How can a man vanish when the world is looking right at him? Michael Gaine, a 53-year-old dairy farmer from County Clare, vanished on March 22, 2025. His pickup was found idling beside the R460, driver's door open, phone still inside, engine warm. No signs of struggle, no CCTV. Ireland's National Police, the Gardaí, launched one of the largest rural searches in recent history. Dogs, drones, and divers. What they found was a mystery without edges. Not a trace, not a footprint past the fence. On March 22, 2025, Michael Gaine leaves his farm near Ballinackley at 6:15 a.m. to deliver feed. At 7:05 a.m., his vehicle was spotted by a jogger idling on the R460. At 8 a.m., the family reports him missing after unanswered calls. On March 23rd, 27th, hundreds search bogland, rivers, and hedgerows. Helicopters equipped with thermal cameras sweep 60 square kilometers. In April 2025, did he walk away, or was he taken? Wallet found 300 meters from the road, but no DNA, no blood. In June 2025, search officially scaled down. Case reclassified as suspicious disappearance. In August 2025, 2 neighbors were detained briefly, released without charge. Both had alibis. In October 2025, case remains open. Reward fund reaches €100,000. Gardaí confirmed vehicle ECU logs showed engine idling for 12 minutes after door opened, suggesting voluntary exit. Dogs tracked his scent for 150 meters, then lost it abruptly near a drainage ditch that had been dry. Drone imagery showed disturbed grass patterns, but no sign of human remains. Phone data placed him at that spot, then the signal cut instantly. Locals offered 2 stories. Some believe Michael was under financial strain, debts, missed payments. Others say he'd been followed by a white van weeks earlier. Police confirmed no criminal record and no trace of that vehicle. The family rejects the theory of suicide, saying he was making plans for his daughter's wedding. Rumors spread online of human trafficking links to Shannonport, but investigators found nothing. When facts run dry, why do we fill the silence with fear? His wife, Siobhan, still sets 2 plates at the table. She told reporters, "If I stop setting his place, it means I believe he's gone." Volunteers from nearby towns join weekly search walks through the marsh and forest. Farmers leave lights on in windows facing the road, a silent lighthouse for a neighbor lost in fog. Disappearances in rural Ireland reveal a hidden statistic. A rough terrain and sparse CCTV make recovery rates among the lowest in Western Europe. Investigators described the Gaine case as a lesson in data poverty. No phone coverage, few cameras, and small-town secrecy form a perfect blind spot. Experts compare it to a vanishing within the vanishing, the moment a life slips between networks. We know where he stopped and when he was seen last. We don't know where he went or why his trail ends midair. Is it possible for the Earth itself to keep a secret? In Ireland's fog, truth moves slowly. Michael Gaine walked into the morning light and was swallowed by it. Some mysteries don't resist us. They simply wait until someone cares enough to keep looking. She was 7 months pregnant when she disappeared. For nearly 30 years, her name haunted Ireland's Midlands, Fiona Pender. In 2025, police finally stopped calling it a disappearance. They began calling it what it was, murder. Can justice still bloom from a field left fallow for 3 decades? Fiona Pender, 25, a hairdresser from Tullamore, vanished on August 23, 1996. Her apartment door was unlocked, her clothes neatly folded, her car untouched. No note, no witness, no trace. Her mother, Josephine, spent years organizing vigils and marches across Ireland, pleading for answers. In 2025, the Gardaí reclassified the case from missing person to murder inquiry, based on new forensic evidence and interview confessions never before made public. In 1996, Fiona was last seen at home in Tullamore, pregnant with her first child. Boyfriend Sean Dunne reports her missing. In 1997, a massive search operation was conducted across the Bog of Allen, but no results. From 2001 to 2010, there were multiple witness appeals. Anonymous letters were sent to the press, not credible. In 2017, a retired detective confirms DNA from Fiona's toothbrush preserved in cold storage, a rare act that would later matter. In 2024, a former acquaintance of Sean Dunne approaches the police with information linking him to an undisclosed burial site. Soil samples collected. In 2025, forensic tests reveal trace DNA and fabric fibers matching Fiona's apartment rug buried in peat near Clara. In March 2025, the case was officially upgraded to murder. No arrest. Garda Forensics used environmental DNA, microscopic genetic traces in soil to confirm human biological presence at the site. Microscopic fibers matched carpet patterns from Fiona's apartment. Investigators re-examined 1996 phone records showing a single late-night call from a burner line registered to Sean Dunne's business. Circumstantial, but newly corroborated by witness statements. Sean Dunne has denied all involvement. He claims Fiona left voluntarily after an argument. No body means no closure. Some locals believe she was moved post-mortem by others protecting his reputation. Others see the reclassification as symbolic, a way to honor Josephine Pender's campaign more than prove guilt. When does hope become evidence itself? Josephine Pender, now in her 80s, stood outside Garda HQ in March 2025, holding her daughter's photo like a relic. She told reporters, "I don't need a trial. I just want to bring her home." Across Ireland, the case rekindled solidarity for families of the missing. Candles lit in windows, photos shared online with a hashtag for Fiona. Her story became a mirror for a nation learning to say victims' names before their killers. The Pender investigation marks Ireland's first major use of environmental DNA in a cold case. It proves that even without remains, absence can speak. Experts say it's redefining the word proof. Not bones, but biological echoes. Dr. Maeve O'Sullivan of Forensic Science Ireland summed it simply: the Earth remembers. Ethically, it also raises questions of how long police should pursue cases without bodies. We know Fiona was loved, pregnant, and likely killed. We don't know where she rests or who buried the truth with her. Can a country find peace without proof? Gardaí will expand ground-penetrating radar searches around Clara Bog in spring 2026. Also, prosecutors consider re-interviewing key suspects under a new murder classification, and Josephine Pender's foundation plans a memorial for Ireland's missing women. Some cases aren't about justice, but about remembrance. Fiona Pender's story reminds us that grief can fuel persistence, a mother's voice louder than silence. 4-year-old Gus Lamont vanished from his family's remote property one Sunday afternoon. No footprints, no scent, no answers. How does a child disappear where there's nowhere to hide? The Lamont homestead sits 200 kilometers north of Port Augusta, a stretch of dust and silence where the horizon feels infinite. On September 14th, 2025, young Gus was playing in the yard while his father repaired a water pump. When his mother called him in for lunch, the yard was empty. Within hours, a search was underway that would become one of Australia's largest since the Azaria Chamberlain case. From September 14th, 2025, Gus Lamont was reported missing at 1:47 p.m. after disappearing from the yard near the station house. From September 15th to 18th, State Emergency Service deploys 120 volunteers, sniffer dogs, and drones equipped with thermal imaging. No trace. From September 19th, small shoe print found by Dry Creek bed 2 kilometers north. DNA inconclusive. From September 23rd. Could he have wandered that far alone? Rangers and Aboriginal trackers search a 20 kilometers radius. The heat reaches 40 degrees Celsius. In October 2025, the search scaled down after an exhausting terrain coverage. The family offers a $500,000 reward. Police confirmed no vehicle tracks other than the family's and search teams. Dogs lost scent near a wire gate leading to an open pasture, an area later swept by sandstorms. A nearby station camera recorded a white utility truck passing at 1:32 p.m., 7 minutes before the call. The driver has never been identified. Authorities insist abduction remains possible. No wildlife evidence supports animal attack. Skeptics argue the search was too delayed for heat conditions that erased traces within hours. Conspiracy forums speculated UFO sightings and secret military zones, noise that forced police to shut down comment threads. When truth dries up, why do we start watering myths? Gus's parents, Mara and Colin Lamont, turned their veranda into a shrine of blue ribbons and photos. Mara told reporters, "Every night, I leave the light on for him, the one he was afraid to sleep without." Local farmers brought food and fuel for volunteers. Aboriginal elders led prayers for the boy the desert holds. When the official search ended, locals kept looking on their own. One told ABC, "We don't give the Outback the law. SD word." Australia's Outback is the size of a continent and as unforgiving as the sea. Temperatures can erase biological traces in hours. Experts call these cases terrestrial shipwrecks, people lost not to crime, but to scale. New search technologies, heat-penetrating LiDAR, light detection and ranging used to map surface patterns, and AI terrain modeling are being trialed for G.'s case. We know the time, the place, the vanishing point. We don't know what crossed that fence, a child, a truck, or something else entirely. How does hope survive in a place that kills everything else? Sapple plans a renewed search after the wet season to expose buried terrain. Also, Interpol to review possible vehicle links to other Outback abductions, and the Lamont family to launch the Gus Lamont Foundation for Rural Missing Children. Some mysteries are not about evil. They're about emptiness. In the Outback, the earth can swallow sound, light, and even names. But until the wind returns his voice, the Lamonts will keep calling. 17-year-old Phoebe Bishop left home one evening to meet friends. By morning, she was gone. and by summer, the country was divided by what really happened. When truth arrives in pieces, who gets to put it together? Phoebe Bishop lived in a quiet border town between New South Wales and Queensland. On May 12, 2025, she left her house around 7 p.m., saying she'd be back by 10. She never returned. When her phone was found near a bus stop the next day, the town erupted in fear. Police launched a cross-state investigation that would uncover a shocking sequence: betrayal, violence, and unanswered motives. By June, remains were found, and the story of Phoebe Bishop became Australia's most haunting case of 2025. On May 12, 2025, Phoebe leaves home in Tweed Heads, texts friends at 7:43 p.m., be there soon. From May 13th to 14th, phone and backpack found. Search teams scour the riverbank. On May 18th, the police released CCTV showing her entering a white sedan near Highway 40. On June 2nd, remains located in bushland 30 kilometers away after a volunteer tip. Identification pending. On June 8th, DNA confirms Phoebe Bishop. On June 12th, her housemates, James Wood and Tanika Bromley, have been charged with 1 count each of murder and 2 counts each of interfering with the corpse. In August 2025, trial date set for 2026. Public speculation tears the community in half. CCTV footage corroborated witness statements placing Rose's car near the pickup point. Soil samples from the car's trunk matched the bushland burial site with 99.7% accuracy. A voice note on Phoebe's phone, recorded minutes before signal loss, captured a male voice saying, "It's fine, I'll drive you." Voice print analysis linked it to Roe. Roe later told interrogators he panicked after a fight and left her in the dark. Phoebe's parents spoke to the press from their porch, surrounded by flowers and letters from strangers. Her mother said softly, she was trusting. She believed people were good. Hundreds attended her vigil at Tweed River Bridge. Balloons in her favorite color, lavender, floated into twilight. Classmates created a digital memorial that received 2 million views in a week. The case sparked nationwide debate on digital safety and teen violence. Experts warn that geotagged posts and temporary stories can reveal real-time location data to predators. Psychologists describe trust as the first casualty of modern connection. Phoebe's case has already inspired the hashtag check-in before you go campaign, urging friends to verify rides before meeting people alone. The trial is scheduled for early 2026. Prosecutors aim to upgrade charges to first-degree murder. Also, legislators are drafting a Phoebe law for mandatory GPS alerts on rideshare apps. Phoebe Bishop's story is a warning and a wish that trust should never cost a life. In the quiet towns of Australia's borderlands, her name now means remember to check in.